people who from Geneva. I'm in French-speaking part of Switzerland.
Oh, really? What's the name?
Chandrapati Das.
Prabhupada disciple from Geneva.
Yes. What's your name, madam?
Bhakti Vignan Vinash Narasimha Swami. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yeah, he's not coming so regularly anymore because his health is struggling.
He had an accident for 6 years and now he's not anymore so as well as before.
So are you going? He doesn't want you to translate?
Yeah, I was asking, but maybe because I don't speak so loud, also he don't hear properly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we were saying human life is very special. It's rare to get the human body. It's a very great fortune to have the human form of life. But most people don't take advantage of the human form of life. The human life is special because we can inquire and we can try to find out more about the nature of life and how to solve the problems of life. Animals and other species of life, they only engage in eating and sleeping and mating and defending. And if human being only does these things, then he is a two-legged animal. He is called Dvipada Pashu. Dvipada, 2 feet, Pashu animal. So usually the animals have 4 legs, but the human being is a two-legged animal if they're only engaging in animal activities, eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Human life is meant for more. We're meant to inquire and to try to understand about the nature of life and how to solve the problem of life. The problem being birth and death. How to get out from the wheel of birth and death. So this is the real business of human life. So Govinda Das said, it's very rare to get the human form of life, and it's even more rare to get the association of devotees. And in the association of devotees, we have the opportunity to cross over the ocean of birth and death. So in this way Govinda Das begins the song, right? Use the mind to worship Krishna, the lotus feet of Krishna. And in this way we will become fearless. And then in the second verse, Govinda Das describes about the nature of material life. It says, Sita atapa bhata vareshana edina jamini jagiri. That people are having to accept so many difficult conditions in order to work. They have to tolerate the rain. Like today, there was a lot of rain today. People still have to, we can't say, oh, it's raining, I'm not going to work today. No, everybody has to go to work, have to work. You have to go in the rain, sometimes the wind, sometimes the cold and the snow and the ice, and sometimes the heat, scorching heat. You have to tolerate all these difficult conditions. Just like if you're in India, in New Delhi or Vrindavan, in the summer it's very hot. It can get up to 50 degrees. And in the winter it's very cold, freezing cold. It will go even below 0. So people have to tolerate all these difficult conditions. And why do we tolerate all these conditions? Just to maintain our life, to get money to buy bread to eat, right? We have to work to survive in the material world. And we have to work in very difficult conditions. Even if you get a job, you often have to work with wicked, nasty, miserly people. This is the material life is like that. one Mataji, I was in Delhi, and this one Mataji told me, she said, you know, I wanted so much to get a job in the corporate world. And she came to the area in Delhi where all the big corporations are, and she got a job. She got a job in one of these companies. But she said, it's so terrible, it's so horrible. She said, everyone is so pushy and shovey, everyone wants to get above another person, they all want to get a bigger position, and nobody can be nice to each other. Everyone is just nasty and angry and greedy and irritable, and I have to work in these conditions. She said, it's unbearable. She said, I'm going to find another job with simple environment, with more natural people. But you go up in the world, you go into these places, you know, big companies, big organizations, and it's all people pushing to get to the top. They want to get the bigger position. Srila Prabhupada was in Japan, maybe you read in the Lilamrita. Prabhupada went to Japan to discuss with Dynapon about printing his books. And he met with all the directors. They all came to meet, and they all sat at the table. There was the board of directors, the managing director, and all the other directors on the board. They all sat round the table with Prabhupada, and each one of them gave his card. And the managing director was on the top, and you know, the different directors had their cards below the managing director's card. So each gave their card to Prabhupada. So afterwards, they talked for some time, then they all got up, all the directors got up and went out, except for one young man who was the youngest director there. And so Prabhupada was talking to the young man who was, you know, giving Prabhupada some company. So Prabhupada asked him, what is your aim in life? And so the man took his name card out from the bottom of the pile of name cards. He took his card out from the bottom and he put it on the top. You see, in a very graphic manner, he displayed what his aim in life was. In other words, his aim in life was to get to the top. And he thought, to get to the top, you know, I'll be over everyone, I'll be in charge of everyone. So, Prabhupada explained to him, yeah, you may get to the top, but how long will you stay there? You know, you get to the top, and it's not easy to stay on the top. Everyone else is trying to pull you down and become on the top.
Come on, Sister Prayer.
Hare Krishna. She has it.
Hare Prabhupada.
Damodar Prasad Das.
Hare Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Radhe Radhe.
So like that, people want to they all have some desires, material desires, and they're working and they will tolerate all the difficult conditions, so many difficult conditions they work in. People work in factories, sometimes very noisy, very polluted, the air is filthy, so much dust, and people work in these conditions, and it affects their health drastically, very quickly. So people are suffering. Why are they doing all of these things? Why are they accepting all of these difficulties? Chapala sukha labha lagire, simply to get some flickering happiness, flickering pleasure. Means the pleasure will not last for any length of time, it will be very short. That is the nature of material happiness. So then Govinda Das says, Edana Yovana Putra Parijana. He said, your wealth, your money value is reducing every year. Whatever money you have has less value. The cost of living always increases. It never goes down, you know. sometimes they try to stop the increase, but it never goes down. So your wealth is reducing. Edana Yovana, your youth is also going. We're getting older every day. Edana Yovana Putra. You may say, well, my son, I have my son. Your son will also grow up. He will go, he will have his own life, he'll get married, have his family, be away from home. How long you can keep your son with you? And your son cannot protect you from old age and disease and death. Putra, Parijana, all the things in relation to the family, all of these things, they cannot help us. So Govinda Dasa, Etana Yovana Putra Parijana, Itiki Achi Paratitire. This life is tottering, it's shaking, it's very unstable, it's going to fall. And he gives the example, just like a drop of water on the lotus leaf. Kamala Dala Jala, Jivana Talamala. This life is like that, it's just like a drop of water which falls on the lotus leaf. The lotus leaf is like banana leaf. They're waterproof. They don't absorb water. The water rolls off them. You know, you can eat your food off a banana leaf, and you can also eat off a lotus leaf because it's waterproof. So our life is like a drop of water on the lotus leaf. The water is on the lotus leaf, it rolls off back into the pond. So our life is like that, it's tottering. So what to do about it? What's the solution? Edana Jivana Talamala, Edana Yovana Putra Parijana, Itiki Achi Paratite, Kamala Dala Jala Jivana Talamala, Bajahu Hari Pada Nitire. You have to worship Lord Hari. And how to worship him? That is described in the 4th verse. The 9 processes of devotion. Shravanam Kirtan, Shravanam Kirtan, Padasevanam Dasare, Pujana Saki Jana Atmani Vedana, Govinda Das Avilas. So he describes it. This is how you worship Hari. You practice the angas of devotional service, and in this way solve the problems of life. So very simple song, but very meaningful. Okay, so we'll read the Bhagavad Gita. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 We're reading Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, Transcendental Knowledge, text number 22. Yadrishchaya labasan labrichcha labasantushto.
Yadrichcha labasantushto.
Janvo vatito vimatsara.
Dvanvatito vimatsara.
Dvanvatito vimatsara.
Dvanvatito vimatsara.
Samasiddhava siddhocha.
Samasiddhava siddhocha.
Kridvapina nipadyate.
Kridvapina nipadyate.
Yadrishcha labasantushto.
Yadrichcha labasantushto.
Dvanvatito vimatsara.
Dvanvatito vimatsara.
Samasiddhava siddhocha.
Samasiddhava siddhocha.
Kridvapina nipadyate.
Kridvapina nipadyate.
Yadrishcha labasantushto.
Yadrichcha labasantushto.
Dvanvatito vimatsara.
Dvanvatito vimatsara.
Samasiddhava siddhocha.
Samasiddhava siddhocha.
Kridvapina nipadyate.
Kridvapina nipadyate. Yatrichalava santushto Vandatito vimatsaraha Samasidava siddhocha Kritapinani bhatyate
Yatrichalabha santushto Svantvatito vimatsara Samasadhavasitocha Kritva pinani bhatyate
Yadrachalava santushto Dvantvatito vimatsaraha
Samasidava siddhocha
Kritva pinani bhatyate
Yadrishya, out of its own accord, Labha, with gain, Santushta, satisfied, Dhanva, duality, Atita, surpass, Vimatsara, free from envy, Sama, steady, Siddhau, in success, Asiddhau, failure, Cha, also, Kritva, doing, Api, although, Na, never, Nipadyate, becomes effective. Translation. He who is satisfied with gain which comes of his own accord, who is free from duality and does not envy, who is steady in both success and failure, is never entangled, although performing actions. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. A Krishna-conscious person does not make much endeavor to maintain his body. He is satisfied with gains which are obtained of their own accord. He neither begs nor borrows, but he labors honestly as far as in his power, and is satisfied with whatever is obtained by his own honest labor. He is therefore independent in his livelihood. He does not allow anyone's service to hamper his own service in Krishna consciousness. However, for the service of the Lord, he can participate in any kind of action without being disturbed by the duality of the material world. The duality of the material world is felt in terms of heat and cold, or misery and happiness. A Krishna-conscious person is above duality because he does not hesitate to act in any way for the satisfaction of Krishna. Therefore, he is steady both in success and in failure. These signs are visible when one is fully in transcendental knowledge. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnana Shalashaya Chakshur Militanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasati Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Lord Krishna is describing about the person who's complete in transcendental knowledge. He's properly understood transcendental knowledge, and he applies it in his life. So, as Lord Krishna describes here, how he lives. First of all, he mentions he is satisfied with gain which comes of its own accord. And Prabhupada in the purport therefore begins by saying that a Krishna conscious person, it does not make much endeavor even to maintain his body. He will simply depend on Krishna. He's satisfied with whatever Krishna gives. Just like there was this great devotee, Madhavendra Puri. Madhavendra Puri, he was in the line of our Sampradaya. He was coming in the Madhvacharya line. He's a Vaishnava. And he was in Vrindavan. And he was the one who discovered the deity of Nathji.
Okay.
There's a deity of Srinathji, which is very famous. It's worshipped in India today. It's a very well-known deity. It was discovered by Madhavendra Puri. He found it in the Govardhan Hill. Anyway, Madhavendra Puri, he had come to Vrindavan and he was sitting there and he wouldn't beg. He had no food and he wouldn't go and beg. Usually, like in Vrindavan, people will do, they'll do madhukari. If you go to Vrindavan and you go on the Brajamandal Parikrama, then you can do madhukari. You ever try doing madhukari? Madhukari means to take the nectar, just like a bee will take the nectar from the flower. It will take some honey and then go to another flower. So madhukari, you go to people's home and you beg, and you just take whatever they give you. And then you can go to someone else and beg from some, like that. You just take a little from each home. So people, the Brijbasi people, they're familiar with people doing this, and they will give, often sadhus are doing like that. They just live by begging, by doing madhukari. They'll just come and beg some braj roti, maybe you get some braj roti, maybe you get some dal, maybe you get some kitari, whatever. Maybe you get even a little dahi or doodh, depending on what they have in their home. So Madhavendra Puri, however, he wouldn't beg. He would just sit. And if nobody gave him any food, he wouldn't eat. So he was there in Vrindavan and he was sitting at the Govinda Kund. Govinda Kund is the place where Lord Krishna had come. And Indra came there to apologize about trying to destroy all the people in Vrindavan. That time when Krishna picked up the Govardhan Hill. After the Govardhan Hill Leela, then Indra came to apologize to Krishna. He came at this place, Govinda Kund. So Madhavendra Puri was sitting there and he had no food, he had nothing, but he wasn't worried about it. He was chanting the holy name. And then Krishna personally came and brought him food. Krishna would come and he would say, "What's this? Who are you?" He said, "Oh, my mother sent me. My mother said nobody's allowed to go hungry in Vrindavan." And it's true. In Vrindavan, nobody goes hungry. Everywhere they have free food kitchens. They're giving out food for people, many places. And so, anyway, devotee who is self-realized, they can think like that. Sudama, of course, we mentioned before about Sudama Brahman, how he was living. He also didn't like to beg. And then you have Ranti Dev. He was also a great devotee. He also, he would do a lot of fasting. Not only he, but his whole family. They would all fast together. And then people would come and beg. And when they came to beg, he would give them. He would let them take the food. And different demigods would come in disguise to test him, to see if he would be charitable. But he would always give. He said, no, I'm so happy, I just want to give, my happiness is in feeding others. So that is the nature of devotee, that they're compassionate on others, they like to feed other people, they don't worry about their own self. Anyway, a devotee who's got transcendental knowledge, he can live in that way. He doesn't worry too much about the body, and he'll live whatever is provided by the grace of the Lord, by honest endeavor. A devotee will never want to do anything dishonest. He will never want to lie or cheat people or do anything like that. In the material world, these things go on all the time. People stealing and cheating and lying. It's become so bad in Dubai, the Middle East, you know, Dubai, they have so many financial crimes that the government have decided that, Hare Krishna, the government decided that anybody does any financial crime, they won't go to jail. Why not? Because there's so many people already in the jail. They don't want to take any more people, put them in the jail. A devotee was telling me today, he said, in Switzerland, if you get put in the jail, it's luxury. You know, they live in comfort in the jail. You get 3 meals a day, you know, and you have proper hygienic facilities.
Television.
Yeah, even television, really, yeah. Right, so people live like that. And so, in Dubai they decided they're not going to put anybody in the jail anymore because it costs them so much to put them in the jail. So any financial crimes, you know, they won't be allowed to leave the country, but they're not going to put them in the jail. It's so common. The point is how everybody's lying and cheating, they're all trying to get money, they want to get, but they have no transcendental knowledge. One who's got transcendental knowledge is honest. He's not going to lie and cheat. When Srila Prabhupada was buying the land at Mumbai, at Juhu, the man tried to cheat him. The man was trying to cheat. He was selling the land, and he'd tell them, sell you the land. He would take money from them and then not give the land. He wouldn't transfer the land. And he tried to cheat Prabhupada the same way. He tried to get Prabhupada's money and not give the land. But Prabhupada outsmarted him. Prabhupada put the deity there. And once the deity is there, then you cannot move the deity. So, in this way, Prabhupada was victorious over this one man who was trying to cheat him. But the point is, it's so common. Everyone, we say there's only two kinds of people, the cheaters and the cheated. Right? If you're not a cheater, you're liable to be cheated by someone else. It's very common. And so, devotee, one who is with transcendental knowledge, he's a different kind of person. He's very honest. Bhaktivinoda Thakur described when he was a young man, at one point he got a job working in the store. He was to help a man take care of his store and sell goods. And what happened was he was giving change to someone, and he didn't give the man the right change. He gave him less change than he should have. You know, he bought the goods and he gave money, but he didn't give the proper change. And afterwards he thought about it and he realized he'd made a mistake. He went to look for the man, to find him, to give him the money, to make up for the money which he'd not given him. But the man in charge of the shop, when he came back to the shop, the man in charge of the shop said, "You should not work in the shop. You're too honest." You're going to work in the shop, you have to be able to be dishonest, you know. You have to be able to cheat a little bit. You can't have a consciousness about it. But one who has transcendental knowledge, he will want to be honest. He will not want to take unfair advantage of anyone. All right, so in this way, he's happy with gain which comes of its own accord. And he's free from duality. The dualities, meaning what Prabhupada in the purport talks about heat and cold, success and failure, happiness and lamentation. These are the dualities. See, so one who is in transcendental knowledge, he's not disturbed by these dualities. He will accept everything as the grace of Krishna. When things go nicely, he thinks Krishna is just encouraging me. I don't deserve so much happiness. And when things are going bad, he will think Krishna is protecting me. He's only giving me a little token punishment. I am so bad, I deserve to suffer much more, but he's only giving me a little suffering. So a devotee should think like that. I don't deserve the happiness, and when I'm suffering, Krishna is only he's reducing the suffering. So in this way, a devotee is never affected by duality. And then it also mentions one who is in transcendental knowledge, he does not envy. He does not envy. Srimad Bhagavatam is described Nirmat Saranam. Dharma Projita Kaitava Nirmat Saranam Satam. Right? The Srimad Bhagavatam describes, this Srimad Bhagavatam is meant for those who are not envious, who've given up envy. And similarly in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna tells Arjuna, because you're not envious of me, Arjuna, I am speaking this knowledge to you. So material life is full of envy. People are envious of each other. We call them grihamedis. They're in the material life, they're in the family life, and the business is simply envy. Envy of the prosperity of some other family. Oh, they've got a bigger house than us. Oh, they've got more money than us. So many things that they compare their situation to others, and they feel envious of others. But one who is in transcendental knowledge, he does not envy, he's free of envy. Why? Because he understands that whatever people have, it's the result of their past activities. Somebody is wealthy because of some good karma. They did some pious deeds or something. Somebody is opulent, successful in their material life. It's their karma, it's their reactions due to their piety. And somebody else is suffering, it's their reactions due to their sinful activities in the past. It's not by chance. But we don't envy others. Envy is the business of people in the bodily concept of life. We envy their bodies. We envy their material situation. These things are all temporary. So one who has a transcendental knowledge, he knows whatever condition people are in, it is temporary. You may be very poor one minute, you can be very rich the next life. Or maybe in the past life you were very rich. There's a reason for everything. So one who is in transcendental knowledge, he will tolerate all different conditions. Lord Chaitanya wanted Kulaveka Sridhar to take a blessing from him. But Kulaveka Sridhar said, no, why I should ask anything? He said, I am happy. Whatever income I get from my bananas, I spend 50% to worship Mother Ganga. He said, the bird is living in his nest in the tree, and the king is living in his palace. Everyone is suffering and enjoying according to their past deeds. Why I should change anything? So in this way, one who has transcendental knowledge, he does not envy. And then Lord Krishna said, he is steady in both success and failure. Sometimes we're successful, we give the credit to Krishna. And when we fail, we take the blame. Right? If you, just like, there was this one devotee, he was Prabhupada's godbrother. His name was Anand. And he would come and he liked to cook for the devotees. And when he would cook, he would also serve the prasadam to all the devotees. And the devotees would say, oh Anand Prabhu, your cooking is so nice. They were enjoying it very much. And he would say, if it tastes good, then thank Krishna. And if it tastes bad, then blame me. We say, if it tastes good, it's my credit. And if it's bad, we say Krishna's mercy. Right? If it's no good, well, Krishna's mercy. So a devotee is steady in both success and failure. Sometimes you're successful, give the credit to Guru and Krishna. And sometimes we fail. There's no reason to lament. You cannot expect all the time to be successful. Lord Nityananda went to preach to Jagai and Madhai, and on the first attempt they were not successful. They had to run to Haridas Thakur and Lord Nityananda. They went to preach to Jagai and Madhai and tell them to chant the holy name. And Jagai and Madhai were drunk and they chased Haridas and Nityananda. They had to run away to save their life. But Lord Nityananda didn't mind. He thought, okay, we failed. But they tried again. Another day they went. And that time, of course, Lord Nityananda got hit. But he tolerated. And so that is one in transcendental knowledge. He's steady. Sometimes you're successful, sometimes you fail. Sometimes the demigods are victorious over the demons, sometimes the demons defeat the demigods. You cannot expect all the time to be successful. Just like when we're distributing books. Sometimes people will get a book, sometimes they won't. Prabhupada was at one place in India, it was a place in Rajasthan. Anyway, there were this one he was like a king of the region. He'd been a king. You know, the government took all the property away from them. But in the past, his family had been kings, they'd been rulers. And Prabhupada was invited to the man's home to have a program. So Prabhupada told this one devotee that you ask the man to buy a set of books. So the devotee stood up and he preached about Prabhupada's books, and he asked the man, so would you like to get a set of Prabhupada's books? And the man said, oh no, I have so many books, I have a library, I have all my books, I don't need any more books, thanks. So afterwards the devotee apologized to Prabhupada. He said, Prabhupada, I'm sorry. And he said, I couldn't get the man to get a set of books. He said, did I say something wrong? And Prabhupada said, no, what you said was okay. He said, one who knows the value of my books, they will buy. So Prabhupada didn't complain, you know, that, oh, you failed, you didn't sell the book, you know. Prabhupada understood sometimes people will get the book, sometimes they won't. You just have to be steady. You don't give up. Right? So this is one in transcendental knowledge. And in this way, one is never entangled, although performing actions. So that's the point. One who has transcendental knowledge, he's active. It's not they do nothing, they're active. They engage in activities. Not that they stop everything and just sit and do nothing. They're active. But the devotee, because they're in proper consciousness, they're never entangled in these activities. Entanglement comes because of attachment to the result. We have to be detached. And how to detach ourselves from the result? we have to be attached to Krishna. Just depend on Krishna. If Krishna wants, Krishna can give you the world. Krishna gave the world to the Pandavas. How many days did it take the Pandavas to get the world? How many days was the battle of Kurukshetra? 18 days, yes. In 18 days, Krishna gave the Pandavas the whole world. So Prabhupada would say, you have to be part of Krishna's 18-day plan. He can give you the whole world. Are you ready? Are you ready to rule the world?
Yes.
Very qualified. Very difficult thing. Anyway, Krishna can do these things. He can take and he can give according to your ability, according to your qualification. We get what we deserve. We have to recognize Krishna's doing. Okay, any questions? Yes?
Maharaj, today I don't have question. I just want to thank you that you are here.
Okay, no questions?
Maharaj,
Yes?
so devotees always consider whatever comes is Krishna's mercy, whether something good or something bad. So I'm wondering, we also know the law of karma, and generally for a pure devotee, the law of karma doesn't apply, or so I'm just wondering, when do we see, oh, it is my karma, or do we see it's Krishna's mercy?
Yes, well, certainly you could say some karma is there, but that karma can also be reduced by Krishna's arrangement, you see. Although karma is there, certainly some karma is there, the effect of karma is there, but Krishna is also involved too. And Krishna can decide to what extent we have to suffer or to what extent we will enjoy what he wants to give us. The karma is under the material nature, and it's under the control of Krishna. So whatever happens ultimately, yes, we could say it's karma, but it's influenced by Krishna. And one who is a devotee, he's not actually under karma. It's not karma. For a devotee, one who has taken shelter of Krishna, there's no karma, because he's given up everything to surrender to Krishna. But there is Krishna's doing. Sometimes Krishna will give, sometimes Krishna will take. Sometimes we'll be successful, sometimes we fail. Krishna wants to test us to see how much we're willing to bear in order to surrender and to keep up our service to him. So we can see everything as a test of Krishna. But for a devotee, the wheel of karma, Prabhupada gave the example about the fan, the electric fan, maybe running, but once you pull the plug out, the fan is still turning. It's still turning, so there's still some reactions there. Still some motion there in the fan. In the same way, although we've taken shelter of Krishna, we've come to Krishna consciousness, there's no karma, but the wheel is still turning, there's still some motion there. So some karma is there, but Krishna's mercy is also there, and Krishna can decide how much we need to receive, to what extent we have to accept success or failure. It will be up to Krishna. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, there's the verse, Tat te nukampam susamikshamana bhajana evatma kritam kripa. That one who tolerates all kinds of adverse conditions and accepts them to be reactions due to his past deeds, but goes on engaging in my devotional service, then he's qualified to become my unalloyed devotee. So a devotee doesn't always, they don't necessarily think, well, it's Krishna's mercy. A devotee will think, it's my karma. We will think of it as karma. But if we have actually come to Krishna consciousness, karma, the effects of karma are greatly minimized. Every day we engage in so many devotional activities. Circumambulate Tulsi, they said even the killing of the Brahmana can be nullified by circumambulating Tulsi. So all the different activities which we do in the course of a day, especially the morning program, chanting and seeing the deities, worshipping the deity, all of these things, they nullify the effects of karma. But still, we get some reactions. Krishna wants to see how much we're determined to be a devotee, how much we're ready to tolerate, to come to him. Are you ready to tolerate? Yeah? Okay? Hare Krishna. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. Jai Gurudev, Jai Prabhupada.
Jai Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai Tulasi Maraminde.
Hare Krishna.
Jai Gurudev. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay, that's it. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Radhe Radhe.
You're taking care of him?
Yes.
You brought him? You brought him here?
Yes, he came, but just for 1 week.
He's going back.
Thank you for your darshan.
Hare
Maharaj.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare
For nice lecture.
Hare Krishna. Sadhguru. Hare Krishna.
Maharaj,
Yes, Prabhu.
one question more related to what we discussed upstairs. We often hear from devotees that the Sunday feast used to be very opulent, so many items.
Hare Krishna.
And I remember at the manor, devotees used to complain that now it's just puri and some chickpeas. So, but then on the other hand, one devotee was concerned that if we just have very opulent prasad, we will only attract people who are interested in eating and not so much in the philosophy. And we rather cook very simple and invest more time in people who are serious. So what is your...
Well, I remember that we used to have the Sunday feast that was really meant for the devotees. For the devotees, not necessarily for everybody who's coming to the temple, but for the devotees, you know, during the week, on the weekdays, we'll eat the staple food, rice, dal, chapati, a little sabji. And you need more, you eat more rice and dal, you know. Fill up on the rice and dal, maybe chapati, and a little bit sabji. That was lunch. But sweets and puris and stuff, that was only once a week on Sunday. Sunday, cook some opulent thing like puri and halava and sweets. And so, you know, young devotees, they like these things. So on Sunday we'd have these once a week. Prabhupada said, you take these every day, you get sick. If every day you eat puri and sabji and halwa and ghee, a lot of ghee and butter, it's not good for you, you know. And so you can't eat like that every day. But the idea is for the devotees, other people coming to the temple, well, Mahaprasadam is there, distribute a little bit. How much? You know, most people who come to the temple, if they get something in their hand, they're happy. They don't expect to get a big plate of prasadam, you know. But they want prasad, put something in their hand. You can put a sweet ball or something and a biscuit, like we were giving biscuits there tonight. You give out cookies. So, not that you have to cook a big opulent feast for, you have 1,000 people coming, or 100 people, even 100 people coming. It's a lot of people to cook for. You know, you can't cook a big opulent feast for so many people. Not easily anyway. If somebody sponsors it, okay, you know. If somebody wants to sponsor it, then you can do it, you can arrange it. But the idea is you have to take care of the devotees who are just living in the temple doing service. They have to be kept satisfied. They need a little opulent prasadam. We usually during the week we eat more simply. We eat basic things, just rice, dal, chapati. Breakfast would be a cereal with a few chickpeas and maybe an orange or something, a piece of fruit, a half an orange or something. That was how it used to be in the morning. And no, at night a cup of milk. But opulent Sunday feast, yeah, for the devotees, for the full-time devotees.
If the devotees get, then everybody gets, because Sunday is public.
If the devotees get?
Then everybody gets, because it's, you know, the prasadam is always public.
Yeah, well, you have to make some arrangement so devotees can serve to everyone. Devotees can serve to everyone, and they can keep the special dishes aside. And generally, the public coming, you know, whatever they get, they're happy. You can't complain, you know. They're getting, it's prasadam. We're not charging, we're not selling it to them. And some places they have a problem that people come, they don't come for the whole program, they just come from time for the prasadam. So, and in some centers what they do is they give out coupons at the beginning of the program. And they will give coupons to people, and if they don't have a coupon, then then they have to pay for the prasadam because they didn't come at the beginning. You know. They have to pay, or they don't get prasadam. You know. But the people who come at the beginning, they get the coupons, so they get the prasadam. But if people just come to eat, it's not very good. And we don't want to encourage that. The people, they don't want to hear. They don't want to chant, they don't want to take part in the kirtan or anything, they just want prasadam. Okay, you have some simple prasadam for them. You don't need to give them opulent prasadam. They're just coming to eat. So you give them some khichdi or something. You make some khichdi. And they do like that. Mayapur, places like that. Khichdi, free prasadam. If they want more opulent prasadam, they have to pay something for it. And they do, many people pay, they're happy. In Mayapur, huge crowds come for prasadam. So many people, huge big lines on Sundays. So many, it's like thing, to come to Mayapur, take prasadam. And they buy tickets, they buy the coupons and go and take prasadam. And there's different levels, you know, there's a sulab kitchen and there's a gada kitchen and, you know, different standards. You get what you pay for. And you want free, there's free also, you know, khichdi is being given out free. One time one man complained, he said, why are they selling prasadam? And Prabhupada said to him, he said, because you don't donate. But then the Prabhupada told the devotees, he said, don't sell prasadam. Okay.
Was that in context or was that a general advice? General instruction? This instruction that we should not, the devotees shouldn't sell prasadam, was this a general instruction or contextual?
Yeah, but the general instruction. You know, some prasadam we sell, some things we don't. You know, just like I said, you have some prasadam which is there, you know, simple prasadam, basic prasadam, we give it. But if they want special thing, you know, maybe you want cheesecake or a box of cookies or something like that, then they can purchase these things. So some special things which are made, they can be sold, you know, sweets. And in Vrindavan they sell the Mahaprasadam. They have very nice Mahaprasadam and it's sold, you know, you want to get some very nice opulent sweets or savory or whatever, you purchase it, you can buy it. But if you just want the regular things, you know, there is also free prasadam. But you can't complain, no, I want this, no. You want that, you got to buy that. You know? You want to eat the ras malai, or you don't want khichdi, yeah? Well, the ras malai, Prabhu, you have to pay something for it, you know. It's not being given freely. It's quite, I think it's quite reasonable to do like that. And I think people are generally, they understand and they accept that. You want the more opulent thing, you pay something. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Did you go to Arena? No, we didn't go.
So, on this way for that.
Yeah. So finished? Sometimes raining and sun. We can do some.
We have got this.
So, we heard now and some cafe is still open.
What to do, you know, we are very
So it took 10 minutes to put this on letter. 1 minute? 5 seconds. 5 seconds. Okay, sure. For example, which letter you just show me where maybe this will be the problem.
This is the problem, yes, because
For example, A. Yes.
yeah, A.
Add
The problem
We now don't know if the letters are.
Oh,
Okay, do this one tomorrow.
No, the thing is there, right?
Yeah, they verse every week. Remove
You put the wood or?
Yes.
How?